there's a line here and then they're just exceeding. Lord, I'm sorry for every time I've put you in a box. Something really short. For those who don't, I don't know if it was announced. Usually we end at about 11:30. Today to be somewhere about 12, but don't worry. And I would rather just share with you what's really on my heart, which is the message I'd like to be known for. I was going to say remembered, but I'm not going anywhere. So the message I'd like to be known for. And briefly, today, I'm privileged to share on a message I've entitled, Experiencing God Through Worship. Experiencing God Through Worship. And I'll give you a few points. Number one, and Christine, you must be ready, perhaps with 1 or 2 mics. I know I think you've learned the melodies, so the mic here, in case it's needed. So, I want you to know this. Human beings have naturally been created to worship. Human beings have naturally been created to worship. I want you to notice something. Usually, when you want to go back to the originality of something, it's important to look at the source. Have you noticed, if you are to find any civilization right now that has been uncontacted, there are certain things they may not believe, there are certain things they may not have in common, but they will always have a sort of belief system. They will always have a sort of worship system. How many of you have observed that? That's why we, the Africans, were not difficult to convert to Christianity, because we already had a belief system. We already had a worship system. And it starts from a young age. Every person has naturally been created to see somebody as bigger than them. Haven't you noticed that from a young age, there's a way you see your dad, there's a way that you see your mother? Because there is a way you've been programmed to respond to someone bigger than you. And guess what you do from a young age when one of them is nearby? Can I show you? Yes. Have you noticed that? That's like surrendering. That's like saying, look, I want to get from here to there, but on my own I will fall. So you have to hold me, and if you drop me, that's it. But I trust you, so I'm lifting my hands and trusting you with my life right now. So you may not know it, but you trusted yourself in the lives of certain people. And you notice that when you grow older, you start refusing others. There are some you trust, some you don't trust. Find the babies too, refuses everybody else. And I'll give a few key points about worship. I'll go a bit further and come back. But I'll tell you this. If you are a natural worshiper, I would really like you to look at babies. I'll tell you something about babies. Sometimes one of the biggest trouble we have in the church, I'm sure you've noticed every now and then, when the babies are in shape, they will start exchanging. This one, that one. The babies have no courtesy that I'm standing here preaching. When that child wants the attention of the mother, they really don't care who is watching. They really don't care about anyone else. They don't have courtesy about anyone else. Now, I'm not saying they're trying to be disrespectful, but they're not going to allow anyone to get into their relationship with their parent. That's why you find 1 or 2 ushers will say, no, go stand at the back. I don't know if you're getting my point. When Zoe is in shape that day, well, we memorize her cry. I don't know if you get my point. But what am I trying to say? If you're truly a worshiper, there's an element of expression that God is desiring from you. And sometimes we deny him that. Every now and then when I'm bored, I watch baby videos on Facebook. Am I the only one? You will notice something. If there is one thing that blesses all the parents you see, it's the expression. There was one video I watched where a mother posted the baby looking at her like with so much love. Like, come on, they don't want one who's just stew like this. That's why they celebrate when the child says dada, and yet I can say enthusiasm. I don't know if you're getting my point. I can say photosynthesis. I know a lot of you had trouble in grade 5 when the word photosynthesis was introduced, and trypanosomiasis. I was one of the first to get them. I don't know if you're getting my point. But there is, all they're looking for is some expression. They're looking for some, they want that. That's what separates that child from all the other children. And guess what? That's what God is looking for from you. Just a little bit of attention, you know, a little bit of expression, a little bit of joy, a little bit of emotion. Because human beings have naturally been created to worship. That's why we award any person that we consider exceptional. Listen, there is a reason why I'm called pastor and somebody else is not. It means somebody considered me exceptional and awarded me, and I was ordained. There is a reason why some people are called doctor and you are called sir. Because it means somehow they did something and someone got a doctorate or they got it from material, but generally they find a way to do something and it's rewarded. I don't know if you're getting my point. And somehow, let's be honest, because we're in the image of God, we all like being celebrated. Why do you think you're working hard? Studying things you don't like? Come on, let's be honest. If it were up to you, you'd be driving a better car. I don't know if you're getting my point. We all love a certain level of esteem. We all love that. And you know, it's not a bad thing. It's not evil. Jesus was asked, saying, who is the greatest? Now notice the way he answered. He said, rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, but that is not so with you. If you want to be the greatest, be the servant of them all. In short, he had no problem with them wanting to be the greatest. It's the method. Okay. Hallelujah. I would like to, I don't want to be a boring pastor. As in when they're counting the top 10 pastors, I want to be counted among the top 3. I don't know if you're getting my point. Okay. We award anyone we consider exceptional. There are certain people who, if they are to walk in here, I just hope it's not, I just hope if somebody like Chris Brown walked in here, wouldn't get a case where people stop listening to the same one. They all tell, hey, not me. Who changed? It happens in certain areas. But what I'm just saying is, if there's somebody exceptional who walked in, there's a way you would react. If I saw Marcus Rashford, I would be excited. Some of you have got no idea who he is. I don't know if you're getting my point. For some of you, if you saw Rachel or Esther to walk in, you'll be like, oh my God. And I don't know if you're getting my point. And somebody else might be like, how was that? Just generally, if you consider someone a certain way, there is a way you react when you see them. There's a reaction. Notice we worship anything. We worship people who do well in school. We worship people who run and kick a ball. We worship people who, let's be honest, we celebrate people for kicking balls. I don't know, and I'm one of them. We worship people for being bad. That one is the toughest. Like some people are worshipped for being bad. Like the guy is so tough. We worship people for being good. Some people are worshipped for... Why do you think sometimes ladies will be walking around dressing a certain way? There's a certain esteem they're trying to get. There's a certain people they're trying to appeal to. They want to feel a little worshipped. Why do you think when men are around ladies, as in, you know the way guys joke around sometimes, or they say, anyway, Chumfana, trying to call him that in front of a girl. I'm talking Chumfana. I don't know if you're getting my point. Where it comes from is that longing, that desire to be seen a certain way. Now, if we who are humans can have it like that, how much more God? Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. This is when God was giving the 10 commandments. And let's look at what he said. And God spoke all these words, saying, next verse. And you just keep going. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. He emphasized. He didn't just say, I'm your Lord. He says, I'm your Lord, your God. Come on now, next verse. You shall have no other gods before me. Before he starts speaking, this was the first thing he said. You shall have no other gods before me. Next verse. You shall not make for yourself a carved image of any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Next verse. You shall not bow down to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me. Next verse. But showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commands. Can you imagine the very first thing he tells them is, look, as we start relating, let me just be honest. I don't know if you're getting my point. The phrase, let me just be honest, is very funny to me. And some dear brethren, I will tell you why. You know, what would happen every now and then is you'll find Pastor Daniel, he likes taking naps, and then you'll find sometimes people forget he's in the house. You know, wake up around 23 coming to have his supper. You know, who ate a piece of chicken? You need to be quiet in your room. And one of the brothers, whose name I won't mention, will just stand up and say, let me just be honest. I didn't know. Yeah, we're going graced. I don't know about hallelujah. Should have seen the mountain of Shima he defeated last night. How he doesn't gain is a mystery. As in, if you had a TV show, when the TV show is starting, they'll start by saying the scenes you're about to see are done by trained officials. Do not do them at home, or else they might lead to obesity. Hallelujah. Okay, I'm just trying to get you in the picture. It's like God is saying, okay, look, you guys, you're people, but let me just tell you from the onset. Let me just be honest. I'm a very jealous person. If there is one area you should not cross me, it's this. Have no other God before me. Because for this one, I don't just punish one person, I can punish 4 generations. He's like, I'm just extremely jealous. Have no other God before me. Don't bow down to anyone else. And you can imagine Jesus is asked, what's the greatest command? And interesting, he didn't say the greatest command is have no other God. Jesus is asked, he actually says the greatest command is you shall love the Lord. Meaning, it's beyond avoiding worshiping idols. It's now expressing love for God. Because that's the one thing he can't force you to do. And he says you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, meaning he wants your emotions as well. With all your mind, he wants your mental strength as well. With all your strength, he wants you to be lifting chairs as well after service. And he says, with all your soul, he wants you to love him with everything. And if you can do that, you've got access to the second, which is love your neighbor as you love yourself. Please, as you're loving your neighbor, don't forget to love yourself. Okay, hallelujah. What am I trying to say? You have to realize that we're dealing. The concept of God, I always say, is this. When we're talking about God in any circle, in any sphere, we're dealing with someone bigger, we're dealing with someone stronger, we're dealing with someone better, we're dealing with someone faster. I think I watch too much football. We're dealing with someone with more skill. I don't know if you're getting my point. You're dealing with somebody bigger than you. Our natural response to anyone who's bigger than us is worship. It's vulnerability. And you know, if you've not yet realized that you need God, if you've not yet realized that there must be someone bigger, I say this with all due respect, that is foolish. That's what the Bible says. It says the fool says in his heart there is no God. Let me tell you what that means. It means somebody will say, let us build the most unsinkable ship. It cannot sink. Boom, an iceberg hits it and it sinks. Somebody will say, I'm the president of the US. I've got the greatest security. Boom, US presidents are being shot by some guy on the roof. I don't know if you're getting my point. You have to come to a place where you realize this world, you can never get maximum 100% protection or maximum 100% guarantee. Some people have gone to bed billionaires and woken up in debt. At the end of the day, there comes a place where human being realizes, look, there must be someone bigger. There must be someone greater. There must be somebody stronger. And our natural response to such a person is to worship them. That's our natural response. Hallelujah. Right? So that's our natural response. So, in simple terms, is a whole other part I would have taught, but I would like us to end on this part. You have to know God and boast about His works. You have to deal with idolatry in your heart. That's a sermon for its own day. But the biggest thing is that you must just acknowledge that He's bigger. Do you know that's what being born again is all about, by the way? Do you know how it is when you're born again? Let me tell you what it's all about. There are some people who might be sitting and perhaps you feel guilty because you lived a reckless life and the like. That's why you needed to be born again. Being born again is when you come to a place where you realize that you can't save yourself. You come to a place where you realize that if you're to look at what you've done, it doesn't qualify you for heaven. So then you look at somebody else called Jesus, who was tempted in all manner just like we were, and became a sacrifice for all of us, and He's done it. And you say, you know what? Lord, like you're my boss, you're my master. So here's my life. And He says, good, give me your sin. He gets it. Perfect. Here's my righteousness. At the end of the day, you can't boast because of what He has done. One of my greatest, I'll tell you this, if there is something I enjoy even more than preaching, to be honest, it's when it comes to ministry, I enjoy leading people in worship. That's my favorite. You know why? I don't know. I can just imagine how He feels, That's the moment we forget titles, we forget accolades, all those things, and we just say, you are big, you are great. And you know something? Some of us need to get out of our comfort zone. We've been too comfortable. Perhaps it could be church experience or some of those things. But God expects a person who worships Him shamelessly. There are two things I've noticed. Have you noticed that when a person is mourning, how many of you have ever met a person who's mourning someone they love? They don't care about anyone else. They don't care about TV cameras. And you know that the church has to be in a constant state of longing for the return of Jesus. The church has to be in a constant state of longing for the manifest presence of God, for the kingdom of God to come on earth as it is in heaven. And then another thing I've observed, have you noticed that when a person is very joyful, they're not shy? There was once one lady, I was very reserved. I thought she was a very quiet person. And what happened was, we were having a mentorship class some years ago. And as I was talking to her, I heard the Lord say, anoint her with oil, which was something I rarely did. I didn't even have olive oil, because normally we use olive oil. So I got cooking oil. Yeah, just don't tell the people who are cooking. So I got some cooking oil. And as I anointed her, some of you are there with me, eh? Do you remember that? As we anointed her, her phone rang. And she had been looking for a job for a while. And she answered the call. Next thing we see somebody running. This is a reserved person. She ran to that other side, by the neighbor, and ran back, as in she was almost rolling on the floor. I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I've just been given a job at one of the top 10 banks in the world. I mean, yeah, this, actually you can be this job. I think everybody has got that inner child in them. But the question is for you, what brings out that inner child? If there is anything that brings that side of you more than God, would there be a problem there? If there is anything that can bring out that side of you, if it's only your spouse or your love interest who can bring out kind words from you, what's the name? God. If it's only a football team that can bring out joy from you, that's idol worship. Come on. If it's only getting an A that can bring out a dance from you, when the praise team is always singing, give the Lord a dance, you are busy. What time is the pastor preaching? Give the Lord a dance, you're giving him a look. They didn't say give the Lord a look, it says give the Lord a dance. By the way, I used to be like that. I used to think being deep meant I have to be very spiritual, observing the atmosphere. When people are praising, I should be worshiping, because I'm a very spiritual man. And one day I heard the Lord say, Fred, listen up. So I've been learning. Yesterday I grasped the concept of the shaku shaku. I'll be unleashing my moves very soon. My dance mentor, Miss Lambwe, is coaching me well. Hallelujah. Yeah, I've learned one very of that. I'm trying to see if I can grasp the concept of the gumu gumu, but I don't know. My dance mentor, Mr. Jabalani, that one is not necessarily. They just keep telling me you're doing it wrong. But like Pastor Daniel said, my determination level, same way. Hallelujah. What am I trying to say? God should bring out a certain side of you. God should bring out the emotional side of you. He should bring out the serious side of you. By the way, if it takes a school assignment to get you serious, but reading the Bible just can't get you serious. Come on, guys. Let's get serious. Do you know that there are people who really, really worship school? Can I tell you how I know? Because during exam period, they would stop drinking. Meaning school can discipline them. It can say this no. I don't know. How far are we willing to go? How much are we willing to express ourselves to Him? Are you willing to give Him your highest praise, your highest dance, your highest shout, the loudest scream? Someone saying, you're being too Pentecostal. In the Bible is so loud. There was no silent prayer meeting in the Bible, unless when people were alone. What I'm saying is, are you willing to give Him the best, the very best? So help you God. Well, when you go before heaven, you don't have any, you know, one day you're going to stand before the judgment seat of God. Who's ever faced a form of judgment? I'll use school because it's relatable. Perhaps you get a certain grade. There are those grades where you think, okay, they've fingered me. And there are those where you're like, okay, to be honest. And you start remembering all the times you were supposed to study but you were playing FIFA. And all the times that you were supposed to study but you were watching makeup videos and the like. I'm just saying, how many of you have ever been there when you're a bit ashamed? Like, okay, I could have done better. Who's ever been there? I've been. I want you to imagine the final test of your life. You stand before God and realize you never gave Him your best. I don't know about you, but I can't live with that. And if you're not giving Him your best before, the opportunity is there now. Can you imagine that? You realize you never gave God your best. You gave it to other things. In closing,
Today on this birthday celebration, I have a simple message for you. The Lord is God. Worship Him. Hallelujah. Now, I'll kindly ask, I want every eye closed for a minute. Is there any person in this place that has not made a decision yet